All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all had a good Christmas and New Year or whatever December holidays you choose to celebrate. Today in this video, we're actually going to be making a video that I've actually been planning on making for quite a while now. And this is going to be going over all of my Dark Angel Marines that I have in my collection. We'll just be going over all of my guys, showing you what I have in my army, and yeah, anyway, let's get right into it. All right, so first in my army, we're just going to start off with the HQ choices for my Space Marines. Up first here, we have my substituted Azrael model, Mr. Azzy right here. I actually got this guy out of my my Dark Vengeance box set. I did a review on that a couple months ago. But yeah, technically this isn't Azrael. I think his name is like Chapter Master Balthazar. He was a character. He actually didn't. I don't think he actually had his own unique stat line. If you wanted to like actually just field him, he would just be like a captain with like a relic blade and combi plasma. But he looks so much close to Azrael, and I also printed out him a little banner here that I just thought he would be a good substitute. So yeah, first we have Azrael. Up next here we have a 3D printed chaplain on bike. If you can kind of see his eyes, I kind of messed up on his eyes there a little bit, but yeah, this is a 3D printed model that I made. As you can see, again, the chaplain on bike, he's got his little book there, all chained down with his twin bolt rifles out of his thing. And then this particular model, his Crozius was almost like a staff. I just thought that this model looked just a lot cooler just because of that staff there. So it's like as he's charging in on his bike there, he can like almost use it as like a javelin or like a spear or whatever. But yeah, because the Dark Angels, pretty much all units with bikes get the Raven Wing keyword. This guy I oftentimes use with when I play with my very small amount of Raven Wing units, but I'm working on building more of them. But yeah, he's a very good model to coexist with the Raven Wing because he's got the Raven Wing keyword. Unfortunately, the Jink ability, where if they move, they get a 5-up invulnerable save, or if they advance, they get a 4-up invulnerable save. He on base has a 4-up invulnerable save, but he still gets advantage of some of the special shadow zones. But yeah, my second HQ is the chaplain on bike. Up next here, we have a Phobos, or Librarian in Phobos armor. My apologies. I got this guy out of the Shadow Spear box set, another actually, no, I never did a review on the Shadow Spear. Oh, anyway, yeah, I got this guy out of the Shadow Spear box set. All librarians for the what's it called, Dark Angels, they get the Deathwing keyword, and then Deathwing, as many of you may know, they don't take leadership, and they also cannot be wounded on 1s, 2s, or 3s. And then also all Deathwing are in this tan, almost bone white color scheme. So that's why I painted his robes in that Deathwing color scheme. I haven't finished his base yet, or also haven't finished his sword, but this is kind of like what I've got so far for him. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool in that color scheme. And yeah, my Phobos and my Librarian Phobos armor. Up next here, we have the Dark Vengeance Librarian. I oftentimes just substitute him as Ezekiel for the Dark Angels. He's the chief librarian for the Dark Angels army. He's a very, very good psyker with a very good sword and pistol. He's also just a very, very good psyker in general. The Dark Angels, I think, probably have one of the better spells in the book. He also gets +1 when he casts Dark Angel spells. So he's actually a very, very good psyker. The only downside is that he's got a very, very small base, so those spells won't really compared to like, you know, the Phobos librarian here, you can just see their bases are so much bigger. His spells take a little bit, he has to get a little bit closer to what he wants to cast, but yeah, I'm still gonna have to get around to painting him. But yeah, this is another Librarian HQ. Up next here we have my Recruit Edition Primaris Lieutenant with Mastercrafted Power Sword and Storm Shield. He's also got a little Neo Volkite pistol right there. I'm honestly super proud of this guy. I think he's probably one of my best paint jobs out of all my miniatures. I really, really do like him. You might also notice him that he is painted in the Ultramarines. I actually, when I first started out my army, I actually wanted to paint all my guys in the Ultramarines, mainly because I didn't realize that there were other chapters out there. So I just thought like Ultramarines, like that's just what Space Marines were. That is certainly what Games Workshop likes to promote them as. This is pretty much just always in Ultramarines. But yeah, I painted him originally as an Ultramarine, and I still like him. I think I'm probably not going to repaint him. I'm probably honestly just going to leave him like this, mainly just because like this is one of my first ever paint jobs, and I just like him. I think he looks pretty cool. Anyway, yep, Primaris Lieutenant. And I've actually got a second lieutenant here. He's my lieutenant in Phobos armor. He also came out of the Shadow Spear box set. He's also pretty cool. He acts essentially the same way as a lieutenant, except he's got this grab sheet on here, so he gets access to deep strike. Honestly, the normal lieutenant over here, honestly, I think he's way better, mainly just because he's got that storm shield, which gives him an invulnerable save and additional armor save. Plus his melee is just way better. This guy is more so if you just want like a backline lieutenant. I don't know if you maybe have like some Terminators back there, or if you have, I like to send him in with the Reavers. I've got a couple of Reavers I'll show also in the army. I like to send him in with the Reavers because it gives him that that reroll one aura. You know, he's got a decent gun, pretty okay melee. But you know, he's just another lieutenant, and if you just want a different flavor, he's a decent choice. But anyway, yeah, here's my lieutenant. And here we have my Captain in Phobos armor. I actually really like this captain. I did a little bit of converting with him. I gave him a little knife for his hand. Normally he's got like a finger pointing, but I give him a little knife to give him more of like a kind of come at me stand with his knife holding out. Also threw a little extra scope on his gun there, threw some little extra blings, little bits and bobs here and there. I also swapped out his helmet. Give him a little Necron skull in the back there. But yeah, Captain in Phobos armor. Probably not the greatest captain model. I mean, the normal captain models, I mean, they're a lot better at fighting, a lot better at shooting, a lot better weapons, a lot better mobility. You know, this guy's kind of a more flavorful captain. He does have a unique weapon where his gun can shoot at characters. But yeah, you know, Captain Phobos armor. And then here I've got a couple other models that I don't really have bases yet for, and I also haven't painted them. These are three more 3D printed models. Right here I've got Lazarus right here, Master Lazarus, that I 3D printed here. You can see he's got his sword there and his bolt pistol, his winged helmet and cape. Yep, and then I also have another Primaris Chaplain right here. And then I also have a what are they called? A Cletus Assassin. Yes, I also have a Cletus Assassin. I've wanted to print out more Assassins, but I actually do have a 3D printer now. I just haven't been able to get the gosh darn thing to work. All these I printed out when I visited my cousin's house because he's got a 3D printer. But yeah, so then just a couple more little throwaway HQs that I don't really use too much. These two guys, because I just don't have bases for them, so I don't really use them too much. My Cletus Assassin, she's pretty cool. Just kind of a flavorful little model that you can throw into your army. But yeah, that's about it for the HQs, and on to the troops. All right, so for our first troop choice, we have a 10-man squad of regular intercessors. I have equipped them all with the bolt rifles on there. And I also gave one of my guys, I kind of converted him a little bit. He's like my heavy weapons guy. I've given him the Astartes grenade launcher. I actually really like this guy. I think he turned it up pretty cool. I threw on some little packs there, so it looks like some extra grenades. The little backpack, extended his barrel a little bit, so it looks like he's got a little bit heavier of a gun. Little extra weapon packs and little backpacks and grenades in there. So yeah, that's my little heavy weapons guy. But yeah, pretty much a standard 10-man squad of intercessors. My sergeant here, equipped with a plasma pistol and chainsword. That's how I like to equip most of my sergeants, with plasma pistols and chainswords. Dark Angels have a unique stratagem where they can increase the damage by 1 for all plasma weapons whenever you shoot with them. And then chainswords, I just think chainswords are probably the coolest weapon. I mean, it's literally a chainsaw sword. I mean, doesn't really get cooler than that. But yeah, just a simple 10-man squad of intercessors for my troops choice. I was thinking of probably getting 5 more, maybe either printing them out or getting the Dark Angels combat patrol. But yeah, anyway, 10-man squad of intercessors. All right, and up next we have a 10-man squad of infiltrators. These guys are my scout marines. I actually really like infiltrators. They're a very handy and useful unit in the game. They can move up really quick on the board. They don't have the greatest of guns. Guns don't do too much damage, but like that's not really their objective. Mainly their whole thing is to move up quickly on the board in turn one and then capture those objectives. Just kind of sit on there. Then they also are equipped with one guy with a Helix Gauntlet, so he's like the team medic. As you can, he's distinguished by his white helmet and then his Helix Gauntlet right there. Yeah, and then the sergeant there. Sergeants for the infiltrators don't get access to any like special weapons. But he's my sergeant. You can tell by like half of his helmet's missing. Might just repaint that over, you know, kind of like that's more dark green, so that way looks a little bit better. I don't know. If you could probably tell from my entire army, pretty much none of my guys show their faces or have their flesh tone. Big reason because that is because I don't like painting faces because it's really difficult to, and I'm not like the strongest painter ever. So yeah, if pretty much at all, if I can, I won't have bare faces. But yeah, anyway, 10-man squad of infiltrators. And then I also have here a 10-man squad of tactical Marines, or also the Firstborn Marines. These guys also came in the Dark Vengeance box set. Yeah, tactical Marines. I do like these guys, honestly. I do prefer the tactical Marines helmets over the Primaris helmets. But I will say I do like infinitely prefer the Primaris over the Firstborn Marines. I mean, you can just see by these guys, the Firstborn Marines, I love their helmets and I love them for being like kind of the first ever miniatures like by Games Workshop, but man, as you can see, they're just a lot more stocky, a lot more chubby, a little bit less proportionate. The Primaris Marines, I mean, they're just so much bigger, so much kind of clean looking at the tactical Marines. And honestly, and also on the tabletop, they're also not as good. They do get access to like one special weapon and one heavy weapon in the squad, but you know, the intercessors and pretty much all the other like new Primaris troops are just honestly just so much better and outclass them. I also did kind of convert my captain or my sergeant here. I give him a robed helmet, give him a little bit more kind of Dark Angel-y iconography. Yeah, 10-man squad of tactical Marines. All right, then up next we have a 6-man squad of assault intercessors that are also painted as Ultramarines. Again, kind of like how I was talking about the lieutenant, I originally wanted to paint all my guys as Ultramarines. Then I learned about the Dark Angels, and Dark Angels are honestly just way cooler. But yeah, just a simple 6-man squad of Ultramarines. This sergeant here was actually the first ever miniature I ever painted. I actually equipped him with 2 pistols, which that's actually an illegal build because you can only have 1 pistol, and even if you could have 2 pistols, you can only fire 1 of them. And the plasma pistol is honestly like infinitely better than the heavy bolt pistol, but I just think he looks cool. The sergeant, he's got these 2 pistols equipped with him. But yeah, just a very actually another cool story. This miniature right here, he was actually my first miniature ever, first painted, first ever miniature. I got him out of not a magazine. I got him out of like the getting started with Warhammer. Him and a little Necron warrior. But yeah, just a simple 6-man squad of assault intercessors. I'm also probably not going to repaint these guys, mainly just for sentimental value, just as like a, you know, these are my first ever guys I painted, and yeah, 6-man squad of assault intercessors. All right, and up next, I have a 5-man squad of Deathwing Terminators, one of who I have given a banner, who I can also use as a Deathwing Ancient. Deathwing Terminators, man, I really want more Terminators, mainly because they just look so cool, but also in Dark Angels, Terminators are very good, because you can also essentially just have your Terminators, because normally they're in the elite slot, you can just have your Terminators as troops, which is pretty ridiculous essentially, because you can have a ton of Terminators. Terminators are super tough, super bulky. They hit like a truck because all of them are equipped with power fists. But yeah, simple little 5-man squad of Terminators who I hope I can either buy more or just print. All right, and up next I have a 5-man squad of Reavers. Oh man, Reavers, they are not very good on the tabletop. Kind of their whole gist is that they can get up close to the enemy. They all have a terror aura, so they all can like make your enemy troops run a little bit more frequently, and also, yeah, like their whole thing is just kind of like mess up troops while they're on the objective. But like once they do that, then they're kind of useless. I mean, they have okay pistols. they have a lot of attacks, but the attacks don't really do much because they have no AP on them. Yeah, they're just not very great. I still like them. I still think they're pretty cool with their skull helmets. My Reaver Sergeant here, I was actually pretty proud of him. I gave him a little scope there and extended his barrel. I threw on a little Necron head there and treated it as a skull. Kind of like to bling up my sergeants a little bit, you know. Threw a bunch of grenades on his wrists. So yeah, this guy's a very battle-hardened sergeant. I also gave each of their knives a little bit of dash of blood to make them look a little bit more fierce than they actually are. But yeah, there's the Reavers. All right, then up next we have 5 company veterans here. Kind of want to make these guys more so thematic because I wanted my company veterans to help guard the captains. So I gave 2 of my company veterans storm shields, chain swords, and plasma pistols. Then my company veteran sergeant here, he's got a plasma pistol and power sword. And over there we have a plasma gun, plasma pistol, and I also have a missile launcher and power fist. A lot of plasma guns, so to make use of that Weapons of the Dark Age stratagem. But man, I think these are probably some of my favorite miniatures I have in my army, mainly because they really embody that gothic sort of, you know, kind of grim, like church vibe. You know, they've got a bunch of incenses, you know, they've got all the robes, hooded helmets, a lot of the Dark Angel wing and sword. I just think that these guys just look super duper cool. You know, there's storm shields, all the angels and whatnot. And then I also just think it's kind of funny that these guys are like gothic space knights, and yet they have like chainsaw swords as like their guards. I just think these guys are kind of funny, but also super duper cool. But yeah, 5 company veterans. And here we have a 3D printed Primaris Apothecary. I gave him a little custom base. I might have to reprint this guy because he didn't come out super duper great, but I've still played with him a couple times. Apothecaries are really, really good. Dark Angels, they also have an Apothecary Terminator, also Apothecary Biker. So having basically an Apothecary on foot with a very quick or either very, well, I mean, yeah, if you're playing the Raven Wing, probably gonna want the Bike Apothecary because you can at least keep up. But with the you know, the Deathwing, the Terminator armor might just keep him alive a little bit longer. So kind of with the normal army, the standard Apothecary, he'll get the job done. But if you're going to play Raven Wing, you might want the Biker one. But yeah, just 3D printed Primaris Apothecary. And then for one of my last elite choices, I have an Invictor Tactical Warsuit. This is probably one of my larger models. He's got a ton of guns on him. He's got a little grenade launcher up there, the twin heavy stubbers, a heavy bolter, and then a twin iron hail gun on there. He also hits like a truck. He's got a really good melee, bunch of good guns. He also has the concealed position roll, so you can just boop, kind of just pop up essentially anywhere on the board for the first game. And because he's got all these guns, you know, he can really shred essentially anything. But yeah, you know, it's pretty cool. You can like take out the guy in there, but I don't really know why you would. Yeah, very, very cool model, very big model. And yeah, Victor Tactical Warsuit. All right, first up for our fast attack here, we've got 3 Firstborn Bikers. These guys also came in the Dark Vengeance. You know, looking for like, because I do want to start a Raven Wing army because I just think they're really cool for the Dark Angels, and also just like an all black, you know, like biker with all the wings and whatnot. They're actually also pretty good and also pretty tough. I have been trying to look at possibly getting more Firstborn, because as of right now, the only kind of Primaris bikers are the Outriders, which I've got a couple and I'll show you in just a little minute. The Firstborn bikers, I honestly think they might have a little advantage over the Outriders because you can just take them in larger squads. They can essentially output the same amount of damage, but you just get more bodies on the table. But yeah, you know, this guy's got a plasma gun. This guy's got a chainsword. Sergeant always has plasma pistol and chainsword. But yeah, just 3, you know, Firstborn bikes for the Raven Wing. All right, and up next we have 6 Outriders, 3 of which are 3D printed and primed, and then 3 of which are plastic. The plastic ones I actually got semi recently, and man, these are really, really cool models. I mean, just like, I think it's just one of the coolest things, like that there are these giant super soldier, like futuristic super soldiers, you know, 9 feet tall. They have chainsaw swords, giant freaking guns, and yet they ride around on motorcycles with also guns on them. It's like you can't get much cooler than this, dude. Like, I mean, they're just such cool models. And then my sergeant here, I gave him a little banner on his back there, gave him a little Necron skull there, and then also little piece of parchment there. As you can see here, he does technically have 2 helmets equipped right there. I did have a spare Primaris helmet. Normally this guy wouldn't have a helmet, but I don't like painting heads, so I just gave him. So he's essentially just carrying an extra helmet. I don't really know why, but yeah, 6 Outriders. So that's pretty big for the Raven. And then for my last fast attack, I have the Storm Speeder Hammer Strike here. I also just got this guy pretty recently. I swapped out. Normally they have like their own unique kind of helmets, but I just threw on some extra Primaris helmets. And then also in my company veteran set, they had one of the beaky helmets. So I just threw it on there because, I'll eventually be painting this thing black for the Raven Wing. And then, also for Ravens, they always have that beaky helmet. I also, you can't really tell when it's on there, but I did trim its base or its kind of clear thing, because normally it would be hovering like all the way up here, which I just thought was kind of silly. So I, snipped it so that way it's a little bit lower to the ground, so that way it's just not. Also probably helps it not get shut down as easy. But yeah, this model on its own, like if you're playing with any other army, it's honestly not super fantastic because it doesn't really have a ton of like really powerful guns. It also doesn't really have too much health, but I think Raven Wing, kind of always giving it an invulnerable save after it moves, I think really kind of gives this thing a little bit more value, because it won't just blow up after a single round of shooting. But yeah, Storm Speeder. And then finally, my only heavy support choice, surprisingly, are 3 Eliminators, who are supposed to be snipers, and yet they are my only heavy support. I mean, they can't take las guns for their snipers, so I guess that kind of makes sense. You get 3 las gun shots for them. But yeah, three simple Eliminator snipers, good for taking out characters. But yeah, just my only heavy support. But anyway, guys, this has been my entire Dark Angels army collection. I hope you all enjoyed. I have been just truly enjoying this hobby as a whole. I love collecting, I love building. Now that I've got a 3D printer, I'm gonna do a lot more printing, getting a lot more miniatures, and hopefully doing a lot more reviews on either sets that I get or sets that I print, so that way I can show them off to you guys, so that way I can, keep you all updated on my Warhammer hobby, kind of sort of experience. But anyway, this is just kind of a simple video. Wanted to show off my entire army, and then also my very, dirty college desk. But anyway, yeah, this has been my Dark Angel army review. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment. And I hope to see you all in the next one. Take care.